Hey everybody, thanks for joining me on my walk today. A rainy day in Toronto, Canada, but we managed to miss the rainfall and came by. I went to pick up some sushi. Actually, not sushi, kimchi. Got sushi on my mind. I went to this Korean supermarket on the street to pick up some kimchi. It was my first time getting in that store, and I thought it was recording, but guess what? I wasn't recording very much. So, pretty good store for shopping. Very clean, and they had some of my favorites from New York. Type of coffee, I don't know what it is but it's a really good instant coffee. I'm going to show you what it is. Hopefully next time I get in there, I will film it. But like I said in my previous apps, you always have to check to make sure I'm filming, because sometimes I turn off the phone in my pocket and it stops the recording on the camera and all sorts of stuff. Here's the store that I went to pick up some kimchi and a coffee. I'll probably show it at some point, the picture of a coffee. What should I do? I'm gonna walk here a little bit. Maybe walk to Bathurst. Yeah, that's what we do. It was a major storms today, big time rain. So I took the opportunity to take the bike to a bike shop. Oh, by the way, they were pretty clean when you entered. This is the only store in Toronto that I entered that the guy at the door is like a typical Korean gentleman. He stood there and he just said, sanitize your hand before coming in a very strong voice. So you had no choice. He made sure everybody cleans their hand. Most of the groceries in store in Toronto, nobody sanitizes or cleans their hands at all getting in there. So that was very impressive. I thought, I think in general people should clean their hands before eating, going to a restaurant, ordering, picking up food, going to grocery stores, and all sorts of stuff. Washrooms, of course. And I think it's just helpful in not getting everybody sick and cold and flu and food poisoning and that sort of things in general. Anyway, so I took the opportunity to take the bicycle to a couple of bike stores and see what they can do for me. I was trying to work on it last night, and I snapped the chain. So the chain on the bike was snapped. And I picked up a new crank arm and took it in to one bike store, see if they can take the crank arms off, because it needs a special tool. It's called a crank arm extractor. Because once you pedal your bike, the pedal seize in there, and it's very difficult to pull them out. There are tricks without the tool, but it's not a good idea. So I asked this bike shop if they could, use their tool for a second to take this out, and they were super mean. I said no. So okay, I went to another store. These guys are back in business doing their nails. I went to another store, and the guy was kind enough to take it off for me. And while he took it off, I go, hey, why don't you install the crank arm? I was going to make a video installing the whole bike and fixing it, but I'm not sure to ride the bike to make videos on fixing the bike. So he said, sure. So he took to put it in, give me a new chain. I picked up a new tire, because as some of you know, my tires are super worn out, but I'm still riding the old worn out tires. I want to see if I can actually wear right through them and blow them up. It's kind of interesting. And so he did all that, and I give him a tip. They're very helpful. And it just sneezed right in his arm, and it's going to a restaurant. Let's cross. That's the thing. You sneeze in your hand, then you go to a restaurant, you touch the menu, the next person that comes and eats there catches a cold. And he's got food poisoning. What a craziness. Anyway, so they fixed the bike, but the bike still needs a bottom bracket, where you pedal, because some of the gears don't work on it, and I possibly need some more stuff on it. The rear cogs I know, I'm just gonna found these guys that are helpful, so I might utilize them to get my bike a little bit in shape. What's going on? Who's revving their car? We're trying to do a vlog here. We're doing a monologue, and these guys revving his Honda Civic with a busted muffler. Come on, man. Yeah, only V8s. I want to hear only V8s on the street. If you got a V8, you can make all the noise you like. I'm okay with it. If you got a 4-banger and you're missing a muffler, then you're making too much noise with no purpose at all. But remember, you got a V8 or a V12, go ahead, make all the noise you want. We like it. Same with motorcycles. You know, if you got a real Harley and it's making a ruckus, we're liking it. Film Mission likes ruckus. Like a real ruckus. Anyway, so yeah, it was raining, not a lot of people with bike shops. I managed to squeeze in a couple of parts. I'll tell you, it's hard to get parts. It's hard to get parts for the bike, especially an old bike. But I managed to kind of, I didn't get the original parts, but I got what I could. But since I got these guys, I might fix a few other things and make the bike roadworthy enough to go to Niagara Falls with it, maybe. Niagara Falls, and then after Niagara Falls, we're gonna do Ottawa. I've done a bike trip to Ottawa once already, about 20 years ago, 20, 30 years ago. But guess what? It's time for a new ride, a long distance ride. Imagine the vlogs we could make for hours. So we're at the corner of Bathurst and Mr. Bathurst and Mr. Bloor. This is where Mr. Bathurst and Bloor met on a date. Oh my God, what are we saying? Should we go or should we go down here? Or should we? I don't know, what should we do? We should keep going. I just want to do a bit of a photo on this corner. This used to be Honest Edge. Let's go. Let's go to Mr. Bloor. We're gonna call all the streets Mr. I think it sounds better that way. I think it sounds better that way. Mr. Young, Mr. Bloor, Mr. Bathurst, Mr. Spadina. Everything is a mess there. Wow. Bunch of alleyways here. Gotta get the bike out. Yeah, the first bike store was kind of, couldn't be carried. There was one guy in there. He was trying to sell bikes, repair bikes, and let people in. It was all closed. And of course, he didn't want to do any, least amount of work possible. So I'm glad I found this other place though. Yeah, but the thing is, I just hate trying to figure things out and trying to find the right person. Go through different stores and call around. I think it's such a waste of time. And you always run into a few stupid people on the way to finding the right person. It's always like a big waste of time. But I guess it has to be done. How's the camera? Is this straight? Is it recording, right? Yeah. God. I love it. Sometimes I walk for hours and hours. Well, not hours, but half an hour at a time. Lee's Palace. We did a bunch of rock and roll bands here too. I don't know if it's still open for rock and roll, but back in the day when everything was rock and roll, we shot a lot of, what the hell is this? Super closed. There's nothing in there. Frozen yogurt. Looks like the place got robbed. There's nothing in there. Nobody's in there. They got robbed. Everybody stole the frozen yogurts. Somebody was wanted a snack super bad. Came in, just held them up and give me all your yogurts. Tell you what, yogurt and blueberries can't be that. Like regular ones, nothing fancy. 2% fat yogurt. Look at her bag. It's like a milk bag. A sugar bag or something. Let's see how far we can go. Next stop is Spadina. I've been to Spadina many times. What's this place? It's like a bulk food store. I don't know, the bulk food stores, how the hell is that open during this time? And you have to touch everything, every handle. You have to touch everything. And sometimes people take samples, right? They're like, hey, let me try a couple of these things. They put it back in. This guy, so tired of this cliche poster, this guy throwing flowers. What's his name? Bensky? Yeah, I met that guy in New York. I didn't meet him, but I photographed one of his art things. He had this van running around with a bunch of stuffed animals in it. And in New York, that's pretty normal. Nobody cared. I took a couple of shots of it, and later on, everybody found out it was an art exhibit, and it was like a big deal. And I saw it, I go, hey, that's pretty weird, but nobody even cared. There's so many, I found there was so many New York, what do you call it, modern art, weird stuff happening on the street that, like nobody cares. Nobody cares. One time I was walking on Broadway, and everybody was staring at me, kind of thing. I was like, why is everybody staring at me? I turned around. There was like 5 Japanese girls dressed in like a schoolgirl uniform, super Japanese. Kind of, I like this inside of this place.
From where I live, they're gonna come all the way over here to go to Spadina, Bloor.
This guy's complaining about coming all the way down here. There's like 5 Japanese girls dressed in school uniform, and you know, it's big hair and Japanese style, everything, super Japanese style, everything. And they were like following me. Wherever I went, they were following me in a line. Okay, so I was the lead guy. Whatever I did, whatever I stopped, they would follow. They would follow like a snake. And they've been doing that for a while, and everybody was looking, and there was some guy over there was filming everything, right? So I was on a, probably was a Japanese TV show or something, a YouTube channel, let's make fun of people kind of thing. So I as soon as I turned around, they stopped, and they wouldn't make any expression, they wouldn't smile, they're just like a robot, Japanese robot. And I right away I figured out, so I pulled out my camera, I started shooting her really close. I mean, I took a couple of pictures of her, but then I got super close. So close that it was useless. The photos weren't even turning out because I was like inches away from her mouth and nose. And I took pictures of her and she wasn't moving, but she didn't know what to do. Like she was still ignoring me. And I kept getting closer till they broke character. And that was fun. That was really, they all started laughing and breaking character. I was like, hey, you know, don't mess around with me on the street with a camera. These guys are scooters. Whoa! These guys are training to run people over on the sidewalk. The kids started early. That's a cool Jeep. That Jeep is pretty good looking. And that's the fact that it's got like mud on it, it's even cooler. Let's get a shot of it. That looks good. Looking good, man. The Jeep's looking. The mud makes it, I'll give them, without the mud I would deduct a point. With the mud, they'll get an extra point because Jeeps have to be muddy. If your Jeep's shiny, I don't know. What the hell's going on here? They're gonna change the street. They're gonna change the water mains. These water mains are a mess. If you ever get a chance to look at, this guy beeped me. He's like, don't step in front of me. This is my street. This is my bike lane. Get the beep out of here. Yes, guy. Yes, guy. We're just filming the street, if you don't mind. You know, we might have to have a written permission from crazy bikers who ping you all the time if you're trying to even stand too close to the street. All right. Let's keep going. Is this, was saying this water pipes? Actually, let's go on the other side of the street, since we got the light. All right. Yeah, these water pipes are, if you have a chance to look inside while they're digging, That car was kind of, I don't know if it was looking at us, but they're a mess when they dig it out and you can see the tubes and stuff. Some of them are super old. And when you look at it, you want to get some bottled water right away. Look at those birds. Can you see those birds up top? All right. And action. Yeah. I like the kind of alkaline bottled water. It gets pricey, you know. It's about, what is it, $2 a bottle? $1 something. And then what happens is, let's do a look back then. It keeps getting higher and higher, your expenses, your grocery bill. But they do taste. If you get the right water, it does taste better. Yes. Uber Eats. I've never used Uber Eats. I've used Uber. But Uber Eats, no. We always used Uber on the road when we got stuck somewhere. We'd walk in neighborhoods in Chicago. And then just kept going, finding. I remember we were in Chicago with my friend. She was helping me. And she said, I want Thai food. And we asked somebody, where's Thai food? I remember exactly. It was 2016, and it was the first presidential debate. So we were like, everybody was trying to watch the debate, and we're like, let's go get some Thai food. And we kept walking and walking through these crazy areas, like nobody around, and it was just like middle of nowhere in Chicago. It was like, I don't know what part. We ran into some sketchy looking people. I don't know how sketchy they were, but they were like saying sketchy stuff. But anyway, so we get to this Thai place in the middle of nowhere. It reminded me of Liberty Village area back in the 80s. There was nothing there except one Thai place. And it was decent. It wasn't a good Thai place, but it was good eating because you got nothing else to eat on the road. And on the way back, it was already dark. I was like, we did a lift. Yeah, we called it lift, and the guy came and picked us up and saved us from going to sketchy neighborhoods like at dark in Chicago on the night of the eve of the presidential debate. Good times. Good times. Christine, that's her name. Yes, I think it was with Christine at the time. And yeah. What should we do? What are we doing here? What streets are, all the shops are gone. This is Bloor Street, by the way. If you're watching from outside of Canada, this is the most famous street in Canada, Mr. Bloor Street. And I don't know, those are condos. How old are those? 80s probably. I did a walk on this Huron Street, and I did record it. I did print it, but I never posted it. I have a lot of walks that I don't post for some reason. They get a bit old, and I don't know why I didn't post that. That was kind of a good area. Somebody's honking. Let's cross the street and maybe go to the next intersection. Let's get out of the bike lane before we get ring the bell at. Oh, she's running and she looks like she's practicing for some crazy race. It's got a little bit humid. It's kind of chilly, but humid. It's kind of weird. Dampy kind of weather. We like it better than a super humid hot day. Forget about it. I'm not a fan of hot and humidity. St. George Cleaners. You know, these posters are so common. Everybody has these for some reason. I guess, I don't know, I really want to know the story on that. Somebody designed it and sold it to everybody. That's got to be the most successful graphic designer ever. Like, I mean, they're old, but almost every store, sewing place and clothes drying, washing place has one of those. This is a shoe museum. I have no idea. This is a cool shot. This would be a really cool shot. One of those cliche shots with all like no left turn. Or was it a right turn? I don't know. Never make a left turn. Always ends you up in a intersection. Bathurst Shoe Museum. I did some photography in here too. No idea what I photographed in there, but couldn't have been that exciting. Says, are you experiencing depression because of COVID-19? Symptoms of depression. Oh man. Yeah, of course. Shit, you lock people up for days on end. Only the normal people get depressed. The crazy ones won't get depressed. The crazy ones love it. They'll attach a camera to themselves, start walking around town talking to themselves. Normal ones get depressed. Yeah. That girl was walking like she could beat the hell out of few people. Tough walk. Where are we? This is so green. And my camera's a bit at an angle. I gotta fix that in post. It's really annoying. What is this place? Some of these stores, huh? It's coffee shop, espresso, meat, closed, chocolate, cookies. What do you need? Appointment to buy? You need an appointment to buy the coffee? You know what? We'll get some instant coffee from the Korean place. I gotta put a picture of that coffee here. I don't know what's in it. I don't know. But I used to drink that in New York and really liked it. I used to live in a Japanese town in New York, and for a while, the only grocery store I could go to was the Japanese grocery store. So I used to buy my fish, and that's pretty cool. It's a cool shot. If I can get the camera straight, there you go. Yeah, I used to get all my grocery, fish, everything. Food, meat from the Japanese place. That was good. Then they opened a Trader Joe's and other things around, and of course, then I stopped going to the Japanese place because it was super expensive compared to Trader Joe's. I still go there sometimes. Let's go over there and see we'll finish the ride on top of these bleachers. Watch some soccer. Do you think they're playing soccer? Oh, tricycle. That's crazy. No, it's not. It's like a, hey, it's a trailer with a dog in it. It looked like a tricycle. That's, you want to get fit, you get one of those and you ride uphill with your dog in the back. You'll be super fit. Oh, that's not a soccer stadium. That's a, what's that thing? It's a football stadium. Is this the Varsity Theater Stadium? Maybe. Anyway, I'm going to end this film here. I'll start walking again and start a new one. Thanks for joining me for this walk. I'll see you in the next film.